So let's continue this discussion on FBA, ADOS, and specifically, let's talk about Pan-Africanism. And the reason why I want to talk about that is because I've read some comments that, make me feel like there's some of these FBA folks out there and ADOS folks out there that don't know what Pan-Africanism is. One guy in the comment section said, well, you Pan-Africanists, y'all just want to cast us away. Y'all want to separate us away. Y'all just want us to go away. When you say stuff like that, that lets me know that you have no idea about Pan-Africanism and what the concept and the idea is. So let me tell you, Pan-Africanism is a movement that emphasizes unity and solidarity of all people of African descent on both the continent of Africa and across the diaspora. Pan-Africanism has core principles, and one of those core principles is unity and solidarity. Pan-Africanism emphasizes the interconnectedness of Africans and their descendants, regardless of the geographical location. We are Africans here in the United States. That's what we are. You speak the colonizer's language. You are educated and you are indoctrinated into the colonizer's culture. Okay? So all you know is that. However, you are not European. You are not European. You speak the languages of the colonizers' lands. English, Spanish, Portuguese, French. You speak those languages. But you are not European. You phenotypically are African. If they took you and plucked you from wherever the colonized place you are, Australia, South America, the Middle America, North America, wherever it is, if they plucked you out of there and they placed you in Africa, you'd fit right on in. You'd fit right on in. So FBA and ADOS, listen, Pan-Africanists are not going against you. It's not versus you, okay? We are trying to educate you and bring you into the fold. We are trying to show you that conservative think tanks whose whole goal is anti-immigration to save the white majority in the United States, we're trying to educate you and tell you that those groups, that's their purpose. You're being a useful idiot when you go and you join FBA and ADOS. You're being a useful idiot. They are using you. They are using you to create a front group that will go out there and kick the anti-immigrant rhetoric so that it doesn't look like it's just white supremacists. It looks like it's several groups. This is a strategy. This is a sophisticated strategy. Don't fall for it. Don't just look at the surface of politics and try to decipher that, because you're going to fall for traps and tricks. Okay? So Pan-Africanism is it's a solidarity movement, my brothers and sisters. We're not going against you. We're trying to bring you into the fold. Now, I know black folk in Africa and in other places, they don't kick this Pan-Africanism like we do. Pan-Africanism is something that black people came up with that were in the colonized lands. It was your Marcus Garveys. It was your W.E.B. Du Bois that came up with this idea, because they realized that being black and being here in North America, or being in the Caribbean, or being anywhere else where white folks run the country and you are just a black person that's there in their land, you're weak. You have no political power. You have no economic power. And that's because you're separated away from other black folk. You're just this small little minority in their land, okay? And if you think for one moment that America is going to reconcile with her history, you got another thing coming. We've been waiting on reparations for over 150 years. Since General Sherman Field Order number 15, we've been waiting on it. It didn't happen back then. We had the Reconstruction after the Civil War, and they cut us short with that. And they brought back in white supremacy again, okay? And then when we tried to build something in this country, they burned it down to the ground every time we did it, or they stole it from us. So if you think for one moment that we're going to just all of a sudden everything's going to turn around and we're going to get reparations, you got another thing coming, especially if you're in this small little group and you're the small little group advocating for it. And you're not even doing what you need to do as that small group by pushing members of the House of Representatives to get behind H.R. 40. I don't even hear you guys talking about that. Okay? Get out of these little cultish, exclusionary, lineage-based groups. Join the Pan-Africanist movement. We are black, and we are in solidarity with black folks across the world. And yes, it does seem like an intangible thing that black folks can go back to Africa in a historical sense. We can go to the continent of Africa and build it up. I know that seems like a far-fetched to a lot of people, but it's not. It is not. If we begin the process of educating each other to the importance of this movement, if we begin the process of linking up with our brothers and sisters in Africa, in the different countries over there, and establishing the diasporic cities, establishing plans and processes for us to get over there and start to build, contribute our gifts and our talents to the continent and to the countries that are in it, it would transform the world and be one of the biggest threats to the status quo that runs the world. They're trying to prevent us from doing that. Who is they? The rich and the powerful white nationalists. The ones that want to colonize Africa to this day.
All this talk of illegal migration in Europe, in the United States, it ultimately comes down to a contest of what is governance. Who is governed? Which countries are governed well? And if so many of these countries around the world are incapable of governing themselves, then it's time for us to just put the imperial hat back on to say, we're going to govern those countries if you're incapable of governing yourselves, because enough is enough. We're done being invaded.
Because our own national security risk is at stake.
Exactly.
National security interests are at stake.
You can say that about pretty much all of Africa. They're incapable of governing themselves and benefiting their citizens because the governments there are all about looting and pillaging and lining their pockets and going shopping in Paris instead of actually
All right, hold on a second. Hold on. People on the left are going to watch this. They're going to say, wait a minute, Eric Prince is talking about being a colonialist again.
Absolutely. Yes. Enough.
Wait a minute, Eric Prince is talking about being a colonialist again. Absolutely. Yes. Enough.
Because if you go to these countries and you see how they suffer under absolutely corrupt, made-up governments that are just criminal syndicates.
Made-up governments.
The people of Africa, the people of Latin America, a lot of them deserve better. Now, some countries are really getting it together. Look at what El Salvador did. Bukele, murder capital of Latin America, he said, no more. Now El Salvador is safer than Prince William County.
And he took
just
all
south
the
of Washington, D.C.
They want to go back into Africa and plunder her for more resources. The only reason they're able to do that is because black folks across this world are not in solidarity. If we can move in solidarity, those things would change. Pan-Africanism is something that we have to teach other black folks around the world who are being diverted by their little tribalism or exclusionary movements that are within their local areas. It's a concept that we've got to teach each other across the world, regardless of your geographical location. We have to teach each other that black people have the right to determine their destinies. And you can't do that in a colonizer's country. They do not prioritize you. You can only do that where black people are at, okay? And maybe if we come up with a plan of action of how we can move together as black folks, we can begin that process of going to Africa and going to the different countries there and contributing our gifts. Personally, I think that black folks should do genetic testing. Find out where the majority of your genetic material originates. What country, what area. Then go there and decolonize your mind. Go there, learn the culture, learn the customs, learn the language. Decolonize yourself. I'm not saying let go of your American culture, your Canadian culture, your Latin culture, your whatever. I'm not telling you to let that go, because that makes us special. We are unique because we have these other cultures that we've lived under. If we bring that to the continent of Africa, all of us in solidarity from around the world, and contributed our gifts, Africa would be a powerful, powerful continent. Understand that goes against what white nationalists and people who have these big giant multinational corporations, the status quo that runs the world. It would go against them. It would be a threat to their power. Pan-Africanism is about anti-colonialism and anti-racism. That's how it was born. It was born because of racism. It's a response to colonialism. That's what Pan-Africanism is. So, y'all, at the end of the day, Pan-Africanism, it celebrates diverse cultures, histories, and traditions across the diaspora. It celebrates our uniqueness in each individual country as black people, but it also celebrates solidarity. Okay? That's the way we need to move as a group. Understand what I'm saying? Black folks, Pan-Africanism is the only way for us. It is the only way. If you think that America is going to come to terms with her history, you're going to be waiting for a very long time. America can't even come to terms with the insurrection that happened on January 6th, or the Confederates that rebelled against this country. They turned around and made them heroes. So if you think for 1 second that they're going to come and make right what they've done to black folks for over 400 years, you're going to be waiting probably for another 400 years. The only method, the only plan we have is Pan-Africanism. And that's real.